Japheth, the oldest son, established about 460 nations, namely Gomer and Togarmah, Gog and Magog, Meshech and Tubal, Javan, Ashkenaz, Tarshish, and Kittim, and they dwelled in the land of the north. Though Ham was the youngest son, he established the most nations, with 730 nations. Their most notable families were Cush, or Ethiopia, Egypt, Libya, Canaan, Philistia, Sheba, and Dedan, and they dwelled towards the south. Shem is the middle son, and he is the son of Noah, who we're going to focus on the most. Though he had the least amount of nations, it's him who Yah favored because he was the most righteous. He established 300 families, among whom was Elam, Asher, Aram, Ludum, and Arpachshad. Arpachshad sired Eber, who begat Peleg, who begat Reu, who begat Serug, who begat Nachor, who begat Terach, who begat Haran and Nachor. They dwelled in the middle parts of the earth. And it was in the middle parts of the earth where a young man by the name of Nimrod began to build a mighty kingdom, the biggest since the flood. His father Cush had given him garments that gave him might and strength. These garments were lambskins that Yah had given Adam and Eve from the Garden of Eden. When they died, those garments were given to Enoch, who gave them to Methuselah, who gave it to Noah, who took it into the ark, and he was supposed to give it to Shem. But Ham stole those garments and gave it to Cush, who gave it to Nimrod, who became a mighty hunter in the earth. Those garments gave Nimrod the power to subdue his brothers, who began to war on the earth, especially the children of Japheth, who grew envious of Nimrod's power. It didn't take long before all the sons of Ham and Japheth placed a regal crown upon Nimrod to rule over them and become his subjects. Nimrod sought out a place to build a palace, and his advisors settled upon a large valley in the east and called it Shinar, for Yahuwah had shaken Nimrod's enemies and destroyed them. And it is there that Nimrod dwelled and ruled securely, and his kingdom became very great. All the sons of Noah gathered themselves onto him and bowed to him and brought him offerings, and he became their Lord and King, and they came under his power and counsel. The sons of Shem, the sons of Ham, and the sons of Japheth. The entire earth was of one tongue and union, but Nimrod quickly began to displease Yahuwah. He began to rebel against Yahuwah by making gods of wood and stone upon the earth, and taught his subjects to worship them instead of God, who delivered their fathers from the flood. But as Yahuwah would have it, he made sure to raise a seed on the earth who would preach the ways of righteousness to turn men back to Yah. Remember Shem? Nimrod placed a man from the seed of Shem by the name of Terach to be the prince of his kingdom. Terach held a feast in his home to honor the birth of his third son, Abraham. All the wise men and conjurers came to eat and drink with their colleague.
Cheers! Congratulations, Terach, on the birth of your third son. Yes, may you continue to be fruitful and multiply.
May there never be lack in your household, and may your well never run dry. Hear, hear! Yay!
Nadab, your cup is empty. Tirta, come, fill Nadab's cup. Make sure none go empty.
Oh, no, Tirta, thank you. That'll be all the wine for me tonight. Yes, Tarak, the night has been well spent for us. Indeed, we must be going, Tarak. We have another full day ahead of us in the palace.
Yes, we need plenty of time to sleep off this wine.
Well, thank you all again for coming to celebrate with me.
Absolutely. We'll see you tomorrow. Have a good night.
Whoa, what is that? Look up! In the sky!
Whoa, that's a star coming from the east. And it's devouring the other 4 stars from the other sides of the heavens. From the north, east, west, and south.
What do you think this means?
This can only mean one thing. That the child born to Tarak is that star. He has a powerful destiny. His descendants will multiply greatly and possess all the earth. He will slay great kings and uproot their lands. This means that we must warn the king. Yes, first thing in the morning, we'll arise and tell him of this matter. O great king, may the king live forever.
What is it, Nadab?
As you know, the prince of your host Tarak begat a son yesternight. Your sorcerers went to his house to eat and drink and rejoice with him. When we left his house, we lifted our eyes, and behold, we saw a star flying from the east with great speed, and swallowed up 4 other great stars from the 4 sides of heaven. As your soothsayers, we've confidently interpreted this to mean that the son born to Tarak will grow up, and his descendants will multiply greatly on the earth, killing all the kings and inheriting all their lands, he and his seed forever.
Not if I have anything to do with it.
Most assuredly, my king. Now if it seems good to you, give value for this child and slay him, so he cannot fulfill his destiny on the earth, lest we all perish through his evil.
Very well. Call Tarak.
O great king, live forever.
Tarak, I hear that you've borne a son on yesternight, and his birth was witnessed in the heavens.
Yes, your majesty.
Now give me this child, that I may slay him, for it has been foretold that he and his descendants will bring much evil to us in the earth. Give him to me, and I'll give you his value, more than enough silver and gold to fill your house.
But, my lord and king, what good will an entire house filled with silver and gold do for me, if I have no son to inherit it?
Do you dare mock a decree made by your king?
Oh, Lord, my king, live forever. I'm sorry. It's just that this is my child, born out of my old age. The decree is sudden and unexpected, as yesternight our celebration and rejoicing shall suddenly turn to mourning and lament. Forgive me. I beseech you, my lord and my king, to let your servant speak a word before you, and let the king hear the word of his servant.
Speak.
I humbly request my king give me 3 days to consult this matter with my family. At the very least, this will give me 3 more days with my son.
3 days. And if you try any funny business, I will slay you and your entire household, that not even a dog shall remain in your house.
Yes, my lord and king, thank you. And Tarak departed from the presence of the king. It was by Yahuwah's divine hand that Tirzah gave birth to her son during those 3 days. And Tarak took him and brought the child to the king, who received value for him. The king slayed the child, thinking it was Abram. And the matter was concealed from the king, for it was Yah's divine providence to not suffer Abram's death. Then Tarak took Abram, together with Abram's mother and nurse, and concealed them in a cave, where he brought them food, water, and other provisions monthly. Nimrod, his princes, soothsayers, sages, and conjurers long forgot the matter, sure that the king had killed Abram. Meanwhile, Yahuwah was with Abram in the cave, and he grew up strong and mighty in the ways of Yahuwah. Anywhere, Terach made sure Abram stayed in the house of Noah and Shem. It was there Abram grew to learn about all the ways of Yahuwah. You see, everybody was doing what was right in their own eyes, while Noah, Shem, Abram, and all in their house worshiped Yah continually and followed his laws. Everyone else worshiped their own gods. They also worshiped the gods of Nimrod. It didn't matter as long as they didn't worship the Elohim who delivered their forefathers Shem, Ham, and Japheth from the judgment of the flood. Meanwhile, King Nimrod ruled securely over the rebellious people. The entire earth was under his control. All the sons of Shem, Ham, and Japheth were in unison because they spoke one language and one tongue. One day, the princes of Nimrod, the families of Put, Cush, Egypt, and Canaan approached the king with an idea to prevent a devastation like the flood from ever occurring again.
O great king, live forever.
What is it, Mitzrayim?
Your Majesty, your princess has finally arrived at a solution for preventing a catastrophe from ever scattering man across the earth again.
Yes, my lord, we shall finally avenge ourselves from the wrath of God.
I'm listening.
Let us build ourselves a strong tower, its top reaching the heavens. We shall become famed and reign upon the whole world. Furthermore, the people will be easier to control this way.
Yes, we must devise a means to reign mightily upon the people, that their wars cease from us, that we may not become scattered on account of their wars.
Or from another judgment of Yah, like the flood.
I like it. With the building of this tower, Yahuwah shall scatter us no more. Mitzrayim, get a task force ready. Let this tower be as one that has never been seen or built before.
And so the men set off, about 600,000 of them, to find a suitable place to build this massive tower. They began to make bricks from fire, large bricks of stone, which they produced by the millions. They worked steadily, mounting brick after brick, until the tower reached an exceeding height. It got to the point where it took a worker a full year to reach the ascent of the tower to lay the bricks. Nimrod would watch daily from his palace of the progress of the tower. He and his men were driven by a strong rebellious spirit against Yahuwah by building this tower. While his princess sought to unite the sons of Noah through the tower, Nimrod's ultimate desire was to defy Yahuwah from destroying mankind through another flood. He said in his heart,
I would be revenged of Yah if he should have a mind to drown the world again. So I shall build a tower too high for the waters to be able to reach, and that I would avenge myself of Yah for destroying my forefathers.
43 years later, the tower was almost 2 miles high, and it had a 3 days walk circumference. It was very big, but there was no end in sight. Nimrod's men were still building the tower, and their hearts hardened against Yahuwah continually. They imagined to war against Yahuwah from their tower, and thus began to boast against Yahuwah, saying,
We will ascend to heaven and fight against him. We will ascend into heaven and place our own gods there and serve them. We will ascend into heaven and smite him with bows and spears.
And Yahuwah knew their evil thoughts, and this thing grieved Yahuwah greatly. And it came to pass, when they were building, they cast their arrows towards the heavens, and all the arrows came back down upon them, piercing them and killing them. And this happened daily for many, many days. Many men perished from dangerous falls while building the tower, while a great number also perished attempting to fight Yah with bows and spears.
Behold, the people are one, and they all have the same language. This they begin to do, and therefore nothing will be restrained from them. Come, let us descend and confuse their tongues, that one man shall not understand the language of his neighbor.
And when Yahuwah came down, he confounded all their languages, and each man forgot his neighbor's tongue, so that he could not communicate with him. It was then that they ceased building the tower, and it was for this reason the tower is called Babel. Well, fire descended from heaven and destroyed a third of the tower. The earth swallowed up another third, and the other third was left, but slowly disintegrated and disappeared over time. As for the sons of Noah, they finally all dispersed from the land of Shinar and formed their own cities, each according to his language and nation. Ham and his family entered into the lands they were to occupy, which was located towards the south, which was very hot. This included the children of Cush, Mitzrayim or Egypt, Put, and Canaan. Japheth and his family entered into the lands they were to occupy, which was located towards the north, which was very cold. This included the children of Gog, Magog, Javan, Ashkenaz, Tarshish, and Kittim. Shem and his family entered into the lands they were to occupy, which was located towards the middle parts of the earth, which was neither hot nor cold, but a blend of the two. This included Shinar, India, Dedan, Asher, and Nineveh. After the tower was destroyed, Nimrod proceeded to build many great cities in the land of Shinar. He was great in the eyes of many, but he never learned his lesson from the tower. He continued to encourage the sons of men to worship fallen angels and their Nephilim offspring, which perished in the flood. Meanwhile, Abram continued to study the ways of Yahuwah in the house of Noah and Shem until he was 50 years old. Yes, at 50 years old, Abram returned back to the house of Terach, his father, which was in the palace of Nimrod. Terach was still Nimrod's favorite advisor, and unfortunately, he participated in all the false idol worship practiced throughout the palace and the cities round about. When Abram entered his father's home, he saw 12 large false gods standing in their own shrines with many lesser gods, and he immediately grew angry.
Abram!
Mother!
Praise Yahuwah, my son's journey back home has been successful.
Mother, what is this? I can't believe after everything Yahuwah has done for our family, Father still worships these false gods.
Oh, yes, I know, my son. I tell your father all the time this is not of Yah, but he claims he must do so to maintain his position in the palace.
As long as Yahuwah lives, these images shall not remain in my father's house, for in 3 days I will destroy them all. Where is he?
He is in the courtyard.
Father,
Abram, my son. You've arrived safely from the house of your forefathers. Tell me, son, how was your journey?
Father, my soul is vexed. Know ye not you have opened your home to devils? Where is the God who created the heavens and the earth? Who made all of creation? Who made you and I?
Son, you need to calm down. Is this the matter in which you greet your father after many years? Go to the house. Those who made us and all creation are there.
is that so? Okay, we shall see about that. So in anger, Abram left his father. He went to his mother and asked her to prepare a savory meat for the idols. When his mother finished preparing the food, Abram placed the meat before all the gods. He sat among them and viewed them, waiting day and night for the idols to accept his offering. And behold, they had no voice, no hearing, no motion, and not one of them stretched forth his hand to eat or drink. After many days, Abram cried out, Woe unto my father in this wicked generation, who serve idols of wood and stone, which can neither eat, smell, hear, nor speak, who have mouths without speech, eyes without sight, ears without hearing, hands without feeling, and legs which cannot move. Like them are those that made them and that trust in them. And with that, Abram grabbed a hatchet and proceeded to smash all the idols, one by one, big and small, until all were destroyed, and none were left standing but the biggest idol, which Nimrod forced upon the people of Shinar. He placed the hatchet in the hand of the big idol and sat down patiently, waiting for his father.
Abram,
Yes, father?
what did you do to my idols?
I've done nothing, father. We should all just calm down, right? All I did was present a savory meat to your gods, and they all stretched forth their hand to eat before the greatest one. His anger was kindled greatly against them, and he went and found the hatchet and proceeded to destroy them all. Yep, that's what happened.
Why do you speak such lies? Do these idols have a spirit, soul, or power to do everything you said? Are they not wood and stone which I carved myself? Is it not you who placed my hatchet in the great idol's hands?
Exactly, father. You just made my point. These idols have no power to hear your prayers, or deliver you from oppression, or deliver you from the hands of your enemies, or fight your battles. It's not good for you or any of the sons of men to do these things. Are you so silly, so foolish, or so short of understanding that you will continue to serve wood and stone instead of the one true God of all, Yahuwah, our Eluah? Especially after Yahuwah flooded the entire earth, for engaging in this great evil you're practicing right now? Now therefore, Father, refrain from this, and bring not evil upon your soul and the souls of your household.
Why, you little fox, I'll report you to the king at once. O great king, live forever.
What is it, Turok?
I beseech thee, my lord, to hear me. 50 years back, a child was born to me, and he has done wickedly against your gods, who are also my gods, and destroyed them with a hatchet.
He destroyed your idols.
Yes, king. Now therefore, my lord, send for him, that he may come and be judged according to the law, that we may be delivered from his evil.
What is this thing you have done by destroying your father's idols?
It was not I, king. It was your great idol in my father's house that grew angry at my father's images and destroyed them because they drew forth to eat and drink before him.
My idol? Can idols eat, drink, and raise up a hatchet to destroy other idols?
Well, if there be no power in them, why do you serve them and cause others to err through your follies? O foolish, simple, and ignorant king, woe unto you forever. Instead of using your rulership to lead your kingdom in righteousness, you're refilling the entire earth with the same abominations that brought about the flood which destroyed our ancestors. Do you want to bring down the anger of Yahuwah and to bring evil upon us and the whole earth a second time? Now therefore, king, put away this evil and serve Yahuwah, Elohim of the universe, as your soul is in his hands, and then it shall be well with you. But if you do not hearken to serve the eternal God, then you will die in the shame and all who follow your idol worship.
You little rascal! How dare you address me with such mockery? Do you forget who you stand before? I'll throw you into the fire where the God you love so much won't be able to rescue you. Take him out of my sight.
Yes, my lord. O sovereign king, that man Abram is the child at whose birth the great star swallowed the 4 stars, which we declared to the king now 50 years since.
What?
Behold, his father has also transgressed your commands and mocked by bringing another child, which you did slay.
Yes, I remember.
He should be thrown into the fire to perish with his son.
Tarak, is this true? Why did you give me another child and take value for a child that was not yours?
Yes, king, it is true. My feelings for my son were yet tender, and I gave you my handmaid's child instead.
Whose idea was it to do something so terrible to your handmaid and take her child?
It was my eldest son Haran. He advised me to do it.
I knew you couldn't think of something so terrible, Tarak. Servants, go get Haran and throw him into the fire.
Yes, my lord.
And so Abram and his oldest brother Haran were thrown into the fire. But because Abram's heart was perfect toward Yahuwah, nothing burned on Abram except his bonds. Yah loved Abram and had compassion for him and delivered him from the fire. He walked in the midst of the fire for 3 days, and he was not burned. However, though Haran was innocent of the crime he was accused of, his heart was not perfect towards Yahuwah, and he immediately perished in the fire. Many of the servants who cast him into the fire perished as well. The king was informed of this matter and couldn't believe his eyes. He had to go see it for himself.
O servant of Yahuwah, who is God in heaven, go forth from amidst the fire and come before me. How is it that you weren't burned in the fire?
The God of heaven and earth, in whom I trust, and who has all power, he delivered me from the fire into which you cast me. Oh, no, please, do not bow down to me, for I am but a mortal man. Bow down to the God of the world who created you, me, and the souls and spirits of all men. Worship and serve him alone, and go in his ways, for it is he who delivered me out of the fire, and it is he who will deliver those who trust in him from all pain. And this miracle amazed the king and his entire court, that Abram was saved from the fire, but Haran and the king's servants were burned. And the king gave Abram many presents and gifts of silver, pearl, and gold. The king also gave Abram his 2 head servants. One was named Ani, and the other was named Eleazar. And Abram went from the king in peace, and many of the king's servants followed him, and about 300 men joined him. And Abram inclined the hearts of men to serve Yahuwah and follow his laws, statutes, and commandments.
It wasn't long when the king dreamt a horrible dream, where a man who resembled Abram approached the king with a sword. The king fled with all his troops and sank in a river, but only the king and his princes escaped. The river turned into an egg, and a bird hatched out of it. It flew at the king and plucked out his eye, and the king woke up in a panic. In fear, the king relayed the dream to his magicians, sorcerers, and conjurers. And a wise servant of the king, whose name was Anuki, answered the king, saying,
This is nothing but the evil of Abram and his seed, which will spring up against my lord in the latter days. Behold, the day will come when Abram and his seed will war with my king, and they will smite the king's troops. The 3 kings are 3 allies who will escape with you in battle. And the river which turned to an egg, and the young bird which emerged thereof, and plucked out your eye, means the seed of Abram will slay the king in latter days. This is my king's dream, and the interpretation which thy servant has given thee is right.
O great king, I warned of this man, Abram, and the evil he has brought to your kingdom. He reviled the king and despised our gods. He should never have been set free.
Were you all not with me when he didn't burn in the fire? Weren't you all afraid of the power of Yahuwah that was on him, including you, Nadab? So be silent. Have you forgotten it is the same God who destroyed my great tower and reduced it to a heap of rubble? The ruins of which you're free to still observe today?
May I speak, my lord? It's been 52 years since your sages saw this at Abram's birth. Why suffer him to live? Slay him, that his evil may be kept from thee in thy latter days.
And Nimrod hearkened to the voice of Anuki, and he sent his servants to go and seize Abram and slay him. But Eleazar, who happened to be in the king's palace at that hour, overheard the king's decree and hastened to go tell his master Abram. Abram immediately fled to the house of Noah and Shem, and there he concealed himself and found safety, for he feared the king. The king's servants searched his house and all the land of Shinar, but could not find Abram, for he was in the house of safety. It was here Terach brought Abram his wife of 2 years, Sarai, and her brother Lot, for these were the children of Abram's dead brother Haran. Terach also brought all of Abram's servants, including Eleazar, to the house of Noah and Shem. And by the Spirit of the Most High Yah, Terach and all the souls of his household decided to leave the land of Shinar, Abram's birthplace, for good, and head towards the land of Canaan. For it was from the Most High Yahuwah that King Nimrod should not cause Abram's death, but to preserve Abram's life and his future progeny, the nation of Yasharal. Well, Terach, his eldest son Nachor, their wives and servants settled in Haran, but Yah specifically instructed Abram to go on to Canaan by saying,
I am Yahuwah, who brought thee forth from the land of Shinar, and delivered thee from the hand of all thine enemies. I sent thee forth from thy birthplace and from thy father's house to the land which I have shown thee, for in that land will I bless thee and make thee a great nation. I will bless those that bless thee, and curse those that curse thee, and in thee shall all the families of the earth be blessed. Now arise, thou, thy wife, and all belonging to thee, and proceed to the land of Canaan.
So Abram, Sarai, her brother Lot, and all their servants continued on to Canaan. And it was here Abram pitched his tent amongst the children of Canaan. For it was an exceedingly good land for pasture and sufficient for Abram's large household. And the people of Canaan saw that Abram was good and upright with men, and that Yahuwah his Eluah was with him. And many came and joined Abram, and he taught them the instructions of Yahuwah. This he did for 20 years, and Abram dwelled amongst the inhabitants of Canaan in safety. Yahuwah appeared again unto Abram, saying,
This is the land which I give unto thee and to thy seed forever, from the river Mitzrayim unto the great river Euphrates. And if thou hearkenest to my voice and keepst my laws, statutes, and commandments, then will I cause thy enemies to fall before thee, and I will multiply thy seed like the stars of heaven, and I will send my blessing upon all the works of thy hands, and thou shalt lack nothing. And thou shalt come to thy fathers in peace and in good age, and the fourth generation shall return here in this land and shall inherit it forever.
Then Abram built an altar, and he called upon the name of Yahuwah, who appeared to him, and he brought up sacrifices upon the altar to Yahuwah. And in that year there was a heavy and grievous famine throughout the land of Canaan. Abram and his family decided to go down to Egypt on account of the famine.
You men are so slow. Lot, you sure you don't want to use the donkeys? Apparently we're stronger than you both.
I see you got jokes, little sister.
Sarai, wait. I have something to tell you.
What is it, my husband?
My wife will be entering Egypt before dusk. Egypt is a godless nation, empowered by the fallen angels they worship so much. Behold, you are a fair woman to look upon, and when the Egyptians see you, they shall slay me, but save you alive. Therefore I pray, tell them that you're my sister, that it may be well with me and my soul shall live.
Of course. But how exactly do you intend to hide me before we find a place to lodge?
There. You'll hide in the chest with the hopes the Egyptians won't harass you. Give tithe to the Pharaoh from what you have, and then you may come into the town. Is that all? Yes, that's all.
What about that chest? Open it up and give us a tithe of the contents inside.
I've already given you a tithe of everything I have.
But not of what is inside that chest. Is it precious stones? Go ahead and give us a tithe thereof.
My lord, I'll pay all that you desire, even more than a tenth, but that chest I won't open.
Stranger, you talk too much. Who are you, and where are you from?
My name is Abram, and I hail from the land of Canaan. My brother Lot and I came down because of the famine.
Interesting, because most Canaanites are not as argumentative as you. And since you won't open the chest, then we'll take it to the Pharaoh. If you want the rest of your goods, follow us.
No, wait, please come back. I'll open it.
It's too late. Since you want to argue with us, you could take your argument to the Pharaoh himself. Your Excellency, we have an Abram here from the land of Canaan. He and his brother have come down because of the famine. He paid tax to enter the city gate, but he refuses to open this chest.
Not true, Your Excellency. I was ready to open it, but the soldiers already decided to bring the chest to you.
Abram, is it? That is a nice chest. What is in it?
A
Is that a sneeze I hear? Abram, is it? Is someone in that chest?
No, I don't think so.
Guards, open that chest immediately. Praise Ra. You're exceedingly beautiful. Abram, who is this delightful woman? Why is she hiding in your chest?
She's my sister, Pharaoh.
Your sister? Come forth, my fair lady. What is your name?
Sarai, Pharaoh. My name is Sarai. Abram and Lot are my brothers, and we've journeyed from Canaan to escape the grievous famine over there.
Well, Sarai, I find you absolutely stunning. I would love to add you to my harem.
And with that, Sarai was taken to the Pharaoh's palace, and Abram was grieved on account of his wife, and he prayed to Yahuwah to deliver her from the hands of Pharaoh. And Sarai also prayed and said,
O Yahuwah, you told my lord Abram to leave Shinar for the land of Canaan, and promised you'd keep us and protect us. We've left our land and our families, and we went to a strange land, to a people whom we have not known before. We came to Egypt to avoid the famine, and this misfortune has befallen us. Now therefore, O Yahuwah, deliver us from the hand of this oppressor, and do well with me for the sake of thy mercy.
and Yahuwah hearkened to the voice of Abram and Sarai, and that night Yahuwah sent an angel to strike Pharaoh and his entire household with the plague. He smote all the servants, the guards, the Pharaoh's wives, and children, and there was a great lamentation that night amongst all the people of Pharaoh's palace. Seeing the evil that befell his palace, the Pharaoh summoned Abram and Sarai the following morning.
Surely, on account of that woman, has a strange plague struck me and my entire palace. Tell me, Abram, who is this woman?
She is my wife, and I told you she is my sister because I was afraid lest you put me to death on account of her.
What is this thing that you have done? Why did you tell me she was your sister? I could have taken her for one of my wives, thus causing transgression. It's no wonder this heavy plague has afflicted my entire household. Now therefore, take your wife and go from this land, lest we all die on her account. Guards, give that man servants and handmaids, and silver and gold. And for you, Sarai, I'll give you your own personal handmaid, one of my own daughters. Hagar, come hither.
Yes, my father.
I want you to go with Abram and Sarai to Canaan. I sense there's a powerful blessing that will come to you from them. For it is better for thee to be a handmaid in this man's house than to be a princess in my palace after we beheld the evil that befell us on account of this woman.
Yes, father. Goodbye, father.
Farewell, my daughter.
And Abram arose, he and all belonging to him left Egypt. And Abram returned to the land of Canaan, where he at first had pitched his tent. And Abram dwelt in the plain of Mamre, which is in Hebron. And he pitched his tent there, and Abram remained in that place for many years. Abram became even richer when he left Egypt, just like he did in Shinar. He, his wife Sarai, and his brother's son Lot returned to the land of Canaan with much wealth, for Yahuwah was bountiful to them on account of Abram. But it didn't take long for their wealth to become a problem. Lot and his cattle became too great for Abram and his cattle to graze on their land, and they quarreled about this almost daily. Lot!
Oh, greetings, Uncle Abraham. I hope the day's treating you well.
It is. How about you? Are you doing well?
Absolutely.
None of the people of the land have approached you yet about you grazing in their fields?
Oh, uncle, why do you trouble me? First you accuse me of using all your provender for my cattle. Now that I've solved that problem by moving my cattle elsewhere, you wish trouble on me by the Canaanites.
Lot, I don't wish trouble on you, son. It's just that you and I both know that this is not our field. Remember, we're strangers in the land. It's only a matter of time before we're approached by the natives and accused of stealing their resources.
Well, what do you want me to do?
We have to forbear on our little plot, son. Just don't take all that provender next time. But Lot wouldn't listen. Abraham was wise to keep his cattle on their tiny plot of land. But day after day, Lot grazed his cattle in other people's fields. It got to the point where the inhabitants began to complain to Abram, and this troubled Abram greatly. Lot, how long will you cause me to be a stumbling block with the inhabitants of the land? Now therefore I beseech you, let there be no more quarreling between us, for we are kinsmen. But I pray you separate from me, you, your cattle, and your entire household, and go choose a place where you can graze your cattle in peace, and not stir up any further trouble with me and our neighbors. However, be not afraid in going from me, for if anyone do injury to you, let me know, and I'll avenge your cause. Only remove from me. And with that, Lot lifted up his eyes and beheld all the plains of Jordan, that it was very fertile and well watered, even like unto the Garden of Eden. And Lot journeyed towards the cities of Sodom and Gomorrah, and settled there, while Abram stayed in the land of Canaan.
My lord, what ails you? Why do you look so forlorn and downtrodden?
It grieves me, Sarai, that Lot is gone. I know he was a nuisance to us all, but he's like a son to me.
My lord, be not grieved on this account. Yahuwah will be with Lot, just as he has been with you.
But Sarai, Lot chose to live in Sodom of all places. Sodom! The men are renowned for perversion, greed, immorality, even amongst the Canaanites. Yah is not pleased with them. They are extremely wicked in his eyes. How will I know Yah will protect him in a land that groans against its own inhabitants? And Abram's hunch was right. It didn't take long before judgment came before the cities of Sodom. King Kedorlaomer, the king of Elam, was confederate with 3 other kings near the land of Shinar, including King Nimrod of Babylon, King Tidal of the nations, and King Arioch of Elachar. These 4 kings of the east came against the 5 kings of Sodom and Gomorrah because they rebelled against King Kedorlaomer, of whom they owed tribute. So the kings of the east amassed their army of 800,000 soldiers, an exceedingly mighty army, to destroy the cities of Sodom and punish the kings for their disobedience. Bera, king of Sodom, Bersha, king of Gomorrah, Shinab, king of Admah, Shemeber, king of Zeboim, and Bela, king of Zoar, made war with the kings of the east, but fled for their lives into the valley of Siddim. There they fell with their chariots and got stuck in slime pits, while their armies got slaughtered by the kings of the east. The kings plundered the cities of Sodom, taking all their goods, victuals, and cattle, including people, and they began the long journey back to Elam. One of those taken captive was Lot, his wife and baby girl. One of Abram's servants witnessed Lot's family being taken captive and reported back to Abram. Abram rose up, armed all the servants of his household, about 300 of them, and pursued the armies of the east, and smote them and slaughtered them, all 800,000 of them. The only ones to escape were the 4 kings, Kedorlaomer, Nimrod, Tidal, and Arioch, who fled back to the east, back to their kingdoms. Meanwhile, Abraham and his small army recovered all the property of Sodom and their cities. He also rescued Lot and all the people who had been taken captive. Lot and his family returned to their home, and when Abraham and his men returned back to Hebron, the kings of Sodom were there, waiting for him. There was also another man by the name of Melchizedek, king of Jerusalem, who went out with his men to meet Abram with bread and wine, and they all sat down and ate. And Abraham rose and gave Melchizedek a tenth of the spoils of his enemies. And Melchizedek raised his hands and blessed Abram, for Melchizedek was a priest before Yahuwah, and he left.
Abram, you are a mighty man of war. We had no idea you and your manservants were warriors.
It was not me, but the Elohim who goes before me. It was Yahuwah who saved you kings for just one man, my son Lot.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Abram, we're eternally grateful for doing for us what we couldn't do for ourselves. We have no way to show our gratitude, but ask that you take all of Sodom and Gomorrah's possessions for yourself.
As Yahuwah lives, I will not take anything belonging to Sodom, that you will not boast, saying Sodom made me rich. Yahuwah has already blessed me abundantly, saying I shall lack nothing. So here, please take your goods.
Abraham, we beg of you, take our Sodomite goods. We wouldn't be at peace knowing you haven't been duly rewarded for rescuing Sodom.
It is well, for Yahuwah rewards me. Please, take everything. Only let those who fought with me take a portion for their food. But as Yahuwah lives, I will not take from you a thing, down to the thread or latchet of a shoe. The kings of Sodom continued to press Abram, but he would not budge. And the kings of Sodom returned back to their respective cities, while Abram and his servants dwelled in peace in Hebron. The word of Yahuwah came unto Abram, saying,
Fear not, Abram. I am Yahuwah, that brought thee out of the land of Shinar, to give you this land to inheritance. I am thy shield and thy exceeding great reward. I will not leave you until I shall have multiplied you, and I will give unto your seed all these lands that you see with your eyes. To them will I give them an inheritance forever. Only be strong and do not fear. Walk before me and be perfect.
Abba Yahuwah, what will you give me, seeing I go childless, and the steward of my house is this Eleazar of Damascus? Thou hast given no seed. I suppose the ones born in my house is my heir.
These shall not be thine heir, but he that comes forth out of your own bowels shall be thine heir. Look toward heaven, if you can number the stars, so shall thy seed.
Abram believed in Yahuwah, and he counted it to him for righteousness. Yahuwah instructed Abram to take a heifer, a goat, a ram, a turtle dove, and a pigeon. He divided them and laid each piece down. When the fowls came upon the carcasses, he drove them away all night until he fell asleep. Then a deep sleep fell upon Abram as a smoking furnace, a burning lamp, consumed Abram's sacrifice. And Yahuwah said,
Abraham, know of a surety that your seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve their enemies, who will afflict them for 400 years. I will judge that nation, and you shall come out with great substance. And in the fourth generation they shall come hither, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
But you, Abram, shall go to your fathers in peace and be buried in a good old age.
So Yahuwah made a covenant with Abram, promising his seed to inherit all the land from the river Egypt onto the great Euphrates.
Well, as you know, Yah promised Abram an heir, a son. He was 78 years old when Yah made that promise. Abram rejoiced and told his wife Sarai these things. But years passed and Sarai still didn't bear a child. Then Sarai came up with a plan.
Here is your breakfast, my lord. I made your lamb with flatbread and chickpeas, just the way you like it.
Thank you, my wife. Sit down. Aren't you having any?
No, I'm not that hungry this morning.
Is everything alright? You seem a bit down.
Well, it's been several years since Yah told you we would have an heir, and it hasn't happened yet.
My wife, you know with Yahuwah, these things can take a while. He said it. He didn't say when, but he did say it, and I believe it. You should too.
Of course, my lord. I don't doubt Yah at all, but maybe the child won't come through me.
What do you mean?
My lord, as you well know, I'm getting too old to have children, but I know someone who can.
Sarai, what are you saying?
My lord, I think you should take Hagar, my handmaid. She's young, she's hardworking, she's loyal, and most importantly, she's learned all the goodly ways I've taught her in Yahuwah. Go to her, that I may also obtain children from her. This is the only way you will get your heir.
So Abram hearkened unto his wife, and Hagar soon conceived a child. Initially, both women were overjoyed that Hagar had become pregnant. But problems began to arise. Hagar began to despise her mistress. She thought to herself,
"This can only be that I am better before Yahuwah than Sarai, my mistress. For all the days that my mistress has been with my Lord, she did not conceive, but Yahuwah has caused me in so short a time to conceive by him."
And likewise, when Sarai saw how she was despised by Hagar, she grew jealous of her handmaid and said within herself,
Surely she's this way because she thinks she's better than I am.
Tension grew between the women, and to make matters worse, Abram didn't seem to notice or care. This caused Sarai to also become upset with her husband. She really began to regret her idea of giving Hagar to her husband. She kept quiet until one day she couldn't take it anymore. Then she confronted Abram.
My wrong be upon you, for when you prayed before Yahuwah for children, why didn't you also pray on my account, that Yahuwah open my womb so I can get pregnant for you too?
But my wife, of course I prayed for you. How else did you expect us to get an heir? Did you actually think I was praying to Yahuwah to impregnate one of our handmaids? Remember, that was your idea, not mine.
Yes, I know, but you never say anything to her. When I speak to Hagar in your presence, she despises my words. She doesn't listen to me because she has conceived, and you watch all of this and say nothing. Abram, may Yahuwah judge between me and you for what you have done to me.
Okay, Sarai, please calm down, okay? Your handmaid is in your hand. Do unto her as it seems good in your eyes. And sure enough, the following morning, Sarai was ready for Hagar. She approached her and spoke harsh words to her.
Wake up!
Oh, good morning, mistress.
Oh, now it's good morning?
It's now you want to greet me and pretend to show me some respect? You never utter a word any other morning when you see me about the house. You leave me with all the chores, pretending you're too pregnant to do any of the housework.
But mistress...
What's the point of having you around? If I'm doing all the cooking and cleaning, what's the benefit of having you here at all? We have a big homestead with plenty of cattle. If you can't contribute to the workload in or out of the house, you're useless to me. Why don't you just go back to your father's house in Egypt?
And with that, Hagar fled the house. Sarai dealt so harshly with Hagar that Hagar had to flee from her face and ended up in the wilderness. And the angel of Yahuwah found her by a fountain of water in the wilderness. And he said,
Hagar, Sarai's maid, where are you coming from? And where are you fleeing to?
I don't know where I'm going, Lord. I just know to flee the face of my mistress.
Return to your mistress and submit yourself under her hands, and it shall be well with you.
Yes, Lord.
Behold, thou art with child, and shalt bear a son, and shall call his name Ishmael, because Yahuwah hath heard thy affliction, and he will be a wild man. His hand will be against every man, and every man's hand against him. He shall dwell in the presence of all his brethren, and I will multiply thy seed exceedingly, that it shall not be numbered for multitude.
and Hagar rejoiced because the angel of Yahuwah visited her in the wilderness, and she called the name of the well Bir Lahai Roi, which means Yah sees me. And Hagar bore Abram a son, and Abram called his son Ishmael, just as the angel of Yahuwah instructed. And Abram was 86 years old when Hagar bore Ishmael to Abram. And Abram was a very happy and content man. He watched as Ishmael grew into a very obedient young man. Ishmael also became a skilled archer, bringing wild game to his family for food. Abram was so glad to finally have a son in his old age. However, Yah appeared to Abram again when he was 99 years old, and Abram fell on his face when he heard his voice. And Yahuwah said,
I am Yahuwah, your Eluah, El Shaddai, the Almighty God. Walk before me and be thou perfect. Behold, my covenant is with thee. I shall make you great, and you shall be the father of many nations. Henceforth, your name shall no longer be called Abram, but Abraham. For the father of many nations have I made thee. I will make thy seed to be fruitful and multiply, and great kings shall come out of thee. I will give unto thee this land in which you are a stranger, all the land of Canaan, to you and all thy seed for an everlasting possession, and I will be their God. Now you, Abraham, must guard my covenant, you and all your generations after thee. You must circumcise every male born among you as a token of my covenant. On the 8th day shall you cut the foreskin of every male child born throughout your generations. This is my covenant which shall be in your flesh for an eternal ordinance. Anyone who does not circumcise, that soul shall be cut off from their people, for they have broken my covenant. As for your wife Sarai, she shall no longer be known as Sarai, but Sarah shall be her name, for she shall be the mother of many nations, and I will bless her with the fruit of the womb.
Whoa, Abba, are you serious? Our father a son at 100 years of age, and my wife shall bring forth a child at 90 years old? I don't know whether to rejoice or be afraid. Oh, Yahuwah, that Ishmael may live before you. What about the son I already have?
As for Ishmael and his seed, I shall bless him and multiply him exceedingly. He shall beget 12 princes, and I will make him a great nation. But my covenant with thee shall continue through the son of your wife Sarah. You shall call his name Isaac, and your wife shall bear him to thee around this time next year.
And Yah finished speaking to Abraham. Yup, that was his new name. And he quickly arose and took Ishmael his son and all that were in his house, every male, and circumcised them. In the selfsame day, Abraham also got circumcised at 99 years of age, and Ishmael was a young teenager at just 13 years of age when he got circumcised. The day after Abraham and his household were circumcised, he sat at the door of his tent to enjoy the heat of the sun, which aided in the healing of the pain of his flesh. And Yahuwah appeared to Abraham by sending 3 of his angels to visit him. He lifted his eyes, and 3 men were coming from a distance. In classic Hebrew style, Abraham rose up to meet them, bowed down to them, and brought them into his house. Please, if I have found favor in your sight, turn in and eat a morsel of bread.
Yes, thank you, kind sir. You've had a long journey.
Here, sit down. Take some water for your feet. Eleazar, take this calf and dress it for our guests. Sarah, make ready the 3 measures of fine meal, knead it, and make cakes to cover the pot containing the meat. Ah, gentlemen, a meal prepared fit for a king, just for you. Welcome to Hebron.
Abraham, this looks delicious. We really appreciate all your generosity.
It's my honor. So what brings you to Hebron?
Bro, Abraham, I have a message for you. Where is Sarah, your wife?
She's in the tent.
I will return to you according to the time of life, and Sarah, your wife, she will have a son.
After I've grown old and well stricken in age? Impossible.
But why do you laugh, Pharaoh? Why do you think you're too old to bear a child? Does anything too hard for Yahuwah?
Oh, but my lord, I didn't laugh.
Not true. You did laugh.
Abraham, we must get going. Thank you again for the meal.
It was my pleasure. Where are you headed now?
To Sodom.
Why? What are you going to do?
Abraham, you know what we're going to do.
Will you also destroy the righteous with the wicked? Suppose there are 50 righteous. Will you not spare the city for the 50 righteous who are there?
If I find 50 righteous, I will spare the entire city for their sake.
What about the 40 righteous people?
I won't destroy it if 40 are righteous.
30?
No.
20?
No.
Oh, let not Yahuwah be angry with me, and allow me to speak once more. What about 10 righteous?
I won't destroy it if even 10 are righteous.
Then Abraham returned to his tent, while the angels went on their way. But as evening approached, Yah sent 2 angels disguised as men to Sodom to destroy it. Abraham's nephew Lot, who had been living in Sodom for over 20 years, sat by the city's gate. He saw the two men from afar and ran up to them and bowed down to greet them.
Behold, my lords, turn in, I pray you, into your servant's house, and tarry all night, and wash your feet, and you shall rise up early to go on your way.
Thank you, but that's quite all right. We'll just tarry in the town square.
I pray it's not safe to stay out late in this city. Do come in where you won't be harassed by the strange men of this place.
Okay, we'll stay with you.
Here, please take this bread and meat my wife Adro made.
It looks delicious, Lot. Thank you.
We are strangers in this land. What brings you to Sodom of all places? Many men fear to come here because of all of the atrocities that occurs here.
Atrocities? Like what?
Well, the people here are extremely inhospitable and unfriendly. They're hostile to travelers and won't let them turn in their homes. Travelers will often starve to death because the inhabitants won't give them bread or water. The judges here are very corrupt and always rule against the travelers, who many times would have their goods stolen by the inhabitants. Furthermore, the men here like strange flesh. Though most are married and have wives and children, they practice all sorts of abominations, even their wives.
So then, Lot, why do you stay, especially after what they did to your daughter, Pauti?
What? What about my daughter? That was so many years ago.
We know that her blood still cries out in heaven for justice for what was done to her. We know about her fearing the stranger who was left to die, and how she was thrown into the fire for her acts of kindness. Many innocent victims have suffered due to the wicked laws in the city, and that is why you must destroy it.
Wait a minute. Destroy it? Who are you?
Lot, you know you're in there with those two strangers. Let them come out so we can know them.
I pray, brethren, do no such wicked thing. Here, I have two virgin daughters who have known no man that you could marry. But these are my guests. Please, leave them alone.
Who are you? You're just a sojourner. You're not even a true sodomite. Who made you judge over us? You better go in there and bring those men out, or we'll deal with you worse than we'll deal with them.
Arise, go forth from this place, you and all belonging to you, lest you be consumed in the iniquity of the city, or Yahuwah will destroy this place.
Who is the Lord? And who are you? Angels or something?
Yes, this is our city. We were all born and raised here, and you seek to destroy the place we call home? Who are you, and why should we listen to you?
My husband, why do you speak such things? Did you just see what happened out there? Those men have been smitten by blindness because they wanted to know our guests. We should listen to them.
No, you listen to me, woman. We're not going anywhere with these strange men. This is our first time meeting them, and they're already stirring up trouble in this city.
I think you two should leave. You're scaring our women and causing confusion in this place, which was peaceful and tranquil before your arrival.
And Lot tarried all night with his son-in-laws, trying to convince them to leave Sodom, but they refused. But early the next morning, Yah had had enough. Sodom's judgment was imminent.
Lot, it is time. You must leave this place. Now.
What do you want me to do? My family is so divided on this matter.
Well, we'll just have to remove you ourselves.
You're angels of the nether god.
Oh my goodness. They're angels. Really? I knew it.
Now go up and escape for your life. Do not look behind you, neither stay in the plains. Escape to the mountain, lest you be consumed.
And Lot and his family ran along the plains and up to the mountains to escape the judgment Yah was bringing to Sodom and Gomorrah for all their wickedness. And then in the wee hours of the morning, Yahuwah rained fire and brimstone from heaven on Sodom and Gomorrah, and he overthrew those cities and all the plain and all the inhabitants of the cities and that which grew upon the ground. Unfortunately, Ado, the wife of Lot, looked back to see the destruction of the cities, for her compassion was moved on account of her son-in-laws and all her family who remained in Sodom, for they did not go with her, and when she did that, she died right there, as she turned into a pillar of salt. Lot and his daughters were completely unaware that their mother was no longer with them as they rushed up the mountain and found safety in the cave of Adullam. And there they remained for some time as they mourned their tremendous sense of loss of everything and everyone they knew. And Abraham rose early in the morning to the place where he stood before Yahuwah, and he looked toward Sodom and Gomorrah and toward all the land of the plain, and beheld the smoke of the cities went up as the smoke of a furnace. And it came to pass, when Yahuwah destroyed the cities of the plain, that Yah remembered Abraham and sent Lot out of the midst when he overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. And Lot and his two daughters remained in the cave, for the daughters thought there was no man upon the earth that could raise up seed from them, for they thought that the whole earth was destroyed. And unbeknownst to Lot, they both conceived and bare sons by their father, and the firstborn called her son Moab. He is the father of the Moabites. And the younger also called her son Ben-Ami. He is the father of the children of Ammon. So this, children, is the history of pride. Lot and his daughters survived the destruction of Sodom and Gomorrah and went on to establish the nations of the Moabites and the Ammonites. But now it was time for Abraham to establish his own nation. And just as the angel spoke, Yah visited Sarah a year later, and she conceived and bore a son to Abraham. And Abraham called him Isaac. Abraham was 100 years old, and Sarah was 90 when Isaac was born to them. And Abraham circumcised Isaac after 8 days, as Yah commanded him, to all his seed after him. And the child grew and was weaned, and Abraham made a great feast the day that Isaac was weaned. And Shem, the son of Noah, his grandson Eber, Abimelech, king of the Philistines, Phicol, the captain of his host, and all the great people in the land came to rejoice with Abraham on his son Isaac being weaned. Also, Terach, Abraham's father, and Nahor, his brother, came from Haran to rejoice with Abraham and Sarah. And in those days, Ishmael, the son of Abraham, was 19 years old when Isaac was 5 years old. And one day, Isaac was sitting at the door of the tent, and Ishmael seated himself opposite to him. And he took his bow and arrow. He drew it, intending to slay Isaac.
Ishmael, stop that right now. Abraham, I've been telling you for years now that Ishmael feels threatened by Isaac. I just now saw him trying to slay Isaac with his bow so he can be your sole heir. Now listen to me and cast out this bondwoman and her son, for her son shall not be heir with my son.
Although Abraham was grieved, Yah said unto him,
Let it not be grievous in thy sight, because of the lad. In all that Sarah hath said, hearken unto her voice. For in Isaac shall thy seed be called, and the son of the bondwoman will I make a nation, because he is thy seed.
And Abraham hearkened to his wife Sarah. He rose up early the next morning and took 12 loaves of bread and a bottle of water, which he gave unto Hagar, and sent them away to the wilderness. And when the water was spent in the bottle, Hagar sat down a good way off from Ishmael and wept and said,
Let me not see the death of the child.
What aileth thee, Hagar? Fear not, for I have heard the voice of the lad. Arise and take your son, for I will make him a great nation.
And Yah opened her eyes, and she saw a well of water. And she went and filled the bottle with water, and gave the lad drink. And Yah was with Ishmael, and he grew, and dwelt in the wilderness of Paran. And his mother took him a wife out of the land of Egypt. And Ishmael grew into a family man, with a wife and children. His little brother Isaac also grew, and Abraham his father taught him in the ways of Yahuwah. And when Isaac was 37 years old, Ishmael and his family returned to dwell with his father Abraham in Hebron. Over 30 years had passed since both brothers had last seen each other. One day, the brothers were having an important discussion.
I was 13 years old when Yahuwah spoke to my father to circumcise us, and I did according to the word of Yahuwah, and I gave my soul unto him, and did not transgress his word which he commanded my father.
Why do you boast to me about this, about a little bit of flesh which you took from your body, which I commanded you? As Yahuwah said unto my father, Take your son Isaac, and bring him up as a burnt offering before me, I would not refrain, but I would gladly do it.
And Yahuwah heard what Isaac spoke to Ishmael, and it seemed good unto him. And he thought to try Abraham in this matter. At that time, the word of Yahuwah came unto Abraham.
Abraham,
Here am I, O Yahuwah.
take now thy son, and go to the land of Moriah, and offer him there for a burnt offering upon one of the mountains which shall be shown unto thee. For there you shall see a cloud and the glory of Yahuwah.
Yes, Abiyah. How will I separate my son from his mother to offer him as a sacrifice unto Yahuwah? Isaac, the day is long spent. Can you bring the sheep in their pen?
Yes, father.
Our boy's getting all grown up now, isn't he?
Yes, he's my pride and joy. I absolutely love him with all my heart.
Yes, my wife. I certainly do as well. He's our one and only son. He's precious to us both. That's why I've decided I want him to advance in his studies with Shem and his son Eber. There, they will teach about the flood and the Ark of Noah, the covenant of our forefathers, and to learn the ways of Yahuwah, just as our forefather Noah and his son Shem taught me when I was young.
Yes, it's time. You've spoken well. Go, my lord, and do unto him as you have said. Just don't remove him far from me, neither let him remain there too long, for my soul is bound within his soul.
My wife, let us pray to Yahuwah, our Lua, that he may do good with us. Early the next morning, Abraham saddled up his donkey to prepare Isaac his son as an offering before Yahuwah, and Ishmael and Eleazar, Abraham's longtime servant, went together with them. And while Abraham and Isaac walked on, Ishmael and Eleazar spoke these words amongst themselves.
My father Abraham is going with Isaac to bring him up for a burnt offering to Yahuwah, and when he returns, he will give me all his possessions to inherit after him, for I am his firstborn.
Surely Abraham cast you away with your mother and swore to his wife Sarah that you wouldn't inherit any of his possessions, nor give all he has and all his treasures, but unto me, his servant, who has been faithful in his house, who has served him night and day, and has done all that he has desired. To me will he bequeath at his death all he possesses.
And while Abraham proceeded with his son Isaac along the road, Satan came and appeared to Abraham in the figure of a very aged old man, and said,
Are you so silly that you would do this to your only son? For Yah has given you a son in your old age, only to slaughter him, causing him to perish from the earth? Don't you understand there's no way that this can come from Yahuwah?
But Abraham would not hearken to the voice of Satan, and Abraham rebuked him, that he went away. Yet again, Satan returned, this time approaching Isaac in the figure of a handsome young man.
I have a prophecy to reveal to you. Do you know that your father is taking you on this journey to sacrifice you? Therefore, don't listen to him. He's an old, silly man. Let not your precious soul and beautiful figure be lost from the earth.
Father, did you hear what that man said back there? He said you're going to take me to get sacrificed.
Be careful of people who prophesy, but with bad intentions. Do not hearken unto him, for he is Satan, endeavoring to draw us aside from the commands of Yahuwah. Abraham rebuked Satan again, and Satan left them. And seeing he could not prevail over them, he passed before them in the road, and he transformed himself to a large brook of water. And Abraham and Isaac and the two men reached that place, and they saw a brook large and powerful as the mighty waters. But Abraham recognized that place, and he knew that there was no brook there before. I know this place in which there was no brook nor water previously. Now therefore it is this Satan who does all of this to draw us aside from the commandments of Yah. Yahuwah rebuke thee, O Hashatan. Be gone from us, for we go by the commands of Yahuwah. Satan was terrified at the voice of Abraham, and he went away from them, and the place became dry land as it was before. Abraham continued the journey until they had walked for 3 days. And on the 3rd day, Abraham lifted up his eyes and saw the place at a distance which Yah had told him of. And a pillar of fire appeared that reached from the earth to heaven, and a cloud of glory upon the mountain, and the glory of Yahuwah was seen upon the cloud. My son, do you see in that mountain in the distance that which I see upon it?
Yes, I see a pillar of fire and a cloud, and the glory of Yahuwah, which is upon the cloud.
Yes. Eleazar, Ishmael, do you see that which we see upon the mountain, which is in the distance?
No, my lord.
We see nothing more than like the other mountains of the earth.
Abide ye here with the donkey, while I and Isaac will go yonder mount and worship there before Yahuwah, and then we'll return unto you.
Yes, my lord.
Yes, father.
Eleazar and Ishmael remained in place as Abraham and Isaac continued up the mount. When they finally reached the peak,
father and son proceeded to find stones and mortar to build the altar. After some time, the altar was finally done, but Isaac grew curious because he noticed something important was missing.
Father, behold, I see the knife, I see the stones, and I see the wood. But where is the lamb that is to be slain for the burnt offering?
Well, Yahuwah has chosen you, son, to be a perfect burnt offering instead of the lamb.
That's amazing, Father. I will do all that Yahuwah has spoken to you with joy and a cheerful heart.
Is there any doubt or fear in your heart concerning this?
No, Father. As Yahuwah lives, nothing in my heart will cause me to deviate either to the left or to the right from the word that he has spoken. Blessed be Yahuwah, who has chosen me to be a burnt offering before him this day.
Abraham rejoiced at the words of Isaac, and he bound him and placed him upon the altar to slay him for a burnt offering before Yahuwah. Tears of joy ran down Abraham's face as Isaac too wept. Their eyes wept whilst the heart rejoiced. And Isaac stretched forth his neck before his father, and Abraham raised his knife to slay his son as a sacrifice unto Yahuwah.
Lay not thine hand upon the lad, for now I know that you fear me in performing this act, and in not withholding your only begotten son from me.
And Abraham lifted up his eyes, and behold, a ram was caught in a thicket by its horns. For Yahuwah prepared the ram from the day he made the heavens and the earth to be a burnt offering on that very day, instead of Isaac. As the ram advanced to Abraham, Satan caught hold of him and entangled his horns in the thicket, that he might not advance to Abraham, in order that Abraham might indeed slay his son. But upon seeing the ram, Abraham fetched him and brought him before the altar. He loosed his son Isaac from his bindings, and he put the ram in his stead. And Abraham sacrificed the ram upon the altar and brought it up as an offering in the place of his son Isaac. This is in the place of my son. May this be considered this day as the blood of my son before Yahuwah.
Because you have done this, I will bless thee, and I will multiply thy seed as the stars of heaven, and as the sand upon the sea. And thy seed shall possess the gates of his enemies. And in thy seed shall all nations of the earth be blessed, because thou hast obeyed my voice.
And Abraham finished his service by the altar, and the service was accepted before Yahuwah, and it was accounted as if it had been Isaac. And Yahuwah blessed Abraham and his generations from that day. And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah Jireh, as it is said to this day. Well, son, Abraham and Isaac returned to their home back in Hebron. It wasn't long after this that Isaac's mother, Sarah, passed away. She was 127 years old, and Abraham mourned Sarah and wept for her. Abraham approached Ephron the Hittite, a prince of the sons of Heth, the inhabitants of the land, saying, I am a stranger and a sojourner with you. Give me a possession of a burying place with you, that I may bury my dead.
Abraham, you are a mighty prince among us. Take your choice of sepulchres to bury your dead. We will not withhold from you.
Okay, please give me the cave of Machpelah, which is in the end of your field. I will pay you money for whatever it's worth if you give it to me for possession as a burying place.
My lord, in the presence of my people, I will give it to you to bury your dead.
No, my lord, I pray thee, I will give thee money for the field. Take it of me, and I will bury my dead there. Please, what is it worth?
400 shekels of silver.
And Abraham hearkened unto Ephron, and Abraham weighed 400 shekels of silver in the hands of Ephron. And he wrote a contract testifying to this transaction before Ephron the Hittite and all the sons of Heth for a witness. And Abraham buried Sarah his wife in the cave of Machpelah in the fields of Hebron in the land of Canaan. She was buried in fine and beautiful garments with pomp as observed for kings. Many came to comfort Abraham and his son Isaac on account of Sarah, including Shem, his sons Eber and Abimelech, together with all the important people of the land. And Abraham made a great and heavy mourning, performing the rites of mourning for 7 days. After some time, Abraham knew he was growing old. Yahuwah had blessed Abraham in all things, but it was time for him to find his son Isaac a wife. Eleazar.
Yes, my lord.
The time has come for my son to have a wife so he can produce an heir, as Isaac is my heir. And you, my friend, shall help me find a wife for my son. Swear to Yahuwah, my Eluah, that you shall not take a wife from among the daughters of Canaan, where we dwell, but you shall go to my country and to my kindred in Haran to find a wife for my son.
Yes, my lord. But what if the woman will not be willing to follow me back onto this land?
The Lord God of heaven, Yahuwah, which took me from my father's house and from the land of my kindred, and spoke to me, saying, Unto thy seed will I give this land. My God shall send his angels before you, and from Haran shall you take a wife unto my son. Now swear to me that you will do this for me.
I swear oath to you, my lord, that I will do this thing. I will help find Isaac a wife.
Eleazar set off. He took 10 camels and 10 servants, and departed for Haran, the land where his father Terach and all his family dwelled when they fled Nimrod in Babylon. They traveled for several days, and when they arrived in the city of Nahor, Eleazar made his camels to kneel down by a well of water at the time of evening. This was during the time that the women would go out and draw water. And Eleazar said,
O Lord God of my master Abraham, thank you for showing us favor by arriving safely in the land of Haran and making our journey prosper. Now please show clearness unto my master Abraham. Behold, I stand here by the well, and the daughters of the city of Nahor come out to draw water. Now let that damsel, to whom I ask to let down her pitcher, not only to give me water to drink, but the camels also. That way I'll know which of these damsels you've acquainted for my master's son.
Before Eleazar was even done speaking, he instantly beheld Rebekah, the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Milcah, the wife of Nahor, Abraham's brother. And she was very beautiful to look upon, and had filled her pitcher, and was approaching Eleazar with her pitcher upon her shoulder. And Eleazar met her, and said,
I pray, let me drink a little wine from your pitcher.
Drink, my lord. Here, let me pour water in this trough for your camels. I will draw more water for them until they're done drinking.
And she hasted and emptied her pitcher into the trough, and ran again to the well to draw water, and drew for all his camels. And Eleazar wondered silently in amazement, holding his peace, believing Yahuwah indeed answered his prayers. making his journey prosperous.
One woman who'd been so kind to the sojourner for helping me in my caravan. Here, take these golden earrings and bracelets.
Thank you, my lord.
Whose daughter are you? I pray, is there will in your father's house for me and my caravan to lodge?
My name is Rebecca. I'm the daughter of Bethuel, the son of Nahor, the son of Terach. And yes, there is room in my father's house for you to lodge, and there is enough straw and provender for the camels.
Blessed be Yahuwah, the allure of my master Abraham, who has not left destitute my master, and leading me straight to the house of his brethren.
And Rebekah went to her mother's house and told her family of everything that took place at the well.
Mother, I met a man at the well, and he gave me these gold earrings and gold bracelets for helping him and his camels with water. Oh, daughter, these are absolutely beautiful.
Jory, where is this man?
He was right behind me. He's probably outside now.
Come in, thou blessed of the Lord. Why stand there? I have prepared the house for you and your men, and room for the camels.
Thank you for your generosity.
Please come, sit, eat. You're just in time for dinner.
Thank you, but please, I will not eat until I have told you mine errand.
Go on.
I am Abraham's servant, and Yahuwah hath blessed my master greatly. And Sarah, my master's wife, bore an heir to my master when she was old. And my master made me swear to not take a wife of the daughters of Canaan, in whose land we dwell, but that I should go to his kindred in the land of Halam to take a wife for his son. When my caravan reached the city of Nahor, we arrived at a well, and I prayed to Yahuwah that he would make my journey prosperous by leading me to his kindred in Nahor, and that whichever of these young damsels at the well would not only give me drink, but that of my camels also, that would be the wife whom Yahuwah has appointed for my master's son. No sooner did I finish this prayer than I immediately noticed Rebekah carrying a pitcher on her shoulder. I asked her for water to drink, and she not only poured for me but for my camels, just as I prayed. I asked her whose daughter is she, and she told me she is of the house of Terach. That's when I gave her earrings for her face and bracelets for her wrist. I bowed down my head, worshiping Yahuwah, and lessened the Lord God of my master Abraham, which has led me in the right way to take his family's daughter unto his son. And now, if you would deal clothes with my master or not, let me know, so I know which way to go.
This thing you said proceedeth from Yahuwah. Behold, Rebekah is before you. Take her and go, and let her be your master's son's wife, as the Lord hath spoken.
Upon hearing this, Eliezer bowed down and worshipped Yahuwah. He brought even more jewels of silver and gold and raiment and many precious things to Rebekah, her brother and her mother. And everyone ate and drank and were merry all night. Early in the morning, Eliezer and his servants rose up, ready to go back to Canaan.
Thank you for your kindness and hospitality of your family. Now we must be on our way. Send me back to my master.
Let my sister abide with us for at least 10 days. After that, she shall go.
Hinder me not, seeing how Yahuwah has prospered my way. Send me away that I may go to my master.
Well, let us inquire of my sister.
That's fine.
Rebekah.
Yes, brother.
Will you go with this man, Eleazar, to the land of Canaan?
I will go.
And Rebekah's mother and brother prepared her to go with Eleazar, along with her nurse, to accompany her to the land of Canaan. And they blessed Rebekah that she be fruitful and multiply, and be a mother of thousands of millions. And back in the city of Hebron, in the land of Canaan, Isaac went out to the field to meditate in the evening. And he lifted up his eyes, and behold, a caravan of camels was coming. And Rebekah also lifted up her eyes, and she saw Isaac.
What man is that in the field who is walking to meet us?
That is my master. My mistress?
Eliezer and all his men returned back to his master Abraham. Meanwhile, Isaac took Rebekah, and she became his wife, and he loved her, and Isaac was comforted after his mother's death.
And Abraham took a wife in his old age, and her name was Keturah, a daughter of Cush. And she bare unto him 6 sons, Zimran, Jokshan, Medan, Midian, Ishbak, and Shuach. And each of the sons had their own children. All these are the families of Keturah, the Cushite woman, which she bare unto Abraham the Hebrew. And Abraham sent them gifts, and sent them all away from his son Isaac to dwell in the mountains of the east, where they built their own cities. And Ishmael had 12 sons, princes according to their nations. And the families of Ishmael spread forth and dwelt near the wilderness of Paran, which is near Egypt. And the families of Ishmael were fruitful and increased abundantly. And Isaac was 59 years old, but Rebekah his wife was still barren in those days. She had no offspring. And one day Rebekah said unto Isaac,
My lord, your mother Sarah was barren in her days, until my lord Abraham, thy father, prayed for her, and she conceived by him. Now also pray to Yahuwah that he will hear your prayer and remember us through his mercies.
My wife, this thing you've stated is true. I will do it. I will seek Yahuwah. O Yahuwah, the God of heaven and earth, whose goodness and mercies fill the earth. You took my father from his birthplace and brought him onto this land, and promised it to him, but said he would multiply his seed as the stars of heaven and as the sand of the sea. Now may thy words be fulfilled, which thou didst speak unto my father.
And Yahuwah heard the prayer of Isaac and was entreated of him. And Rebekah his wife became pregnant with twins. But about 7 months in, the children struggled together within her womb, and it pained her greatly that she grew weary of them. She asked all the women in the land if such a thing had happened to them, but they all said no. She then decided to seek the Most High about the matter.
Abba Yahuwah, after all these years, you've opened my womb to bring forth seed for my lord Isaac. But the birth pains are exceedingly great, too much for me to bear. O Yahuwah, why am I thus, alone in this amongst all the women upon the earth?
Behold, 2 children are in your womb, and 2 nations shall rise from them, and one nation shall be stronger than the other, and the greater shall serve the younger.
Twins?
And when it was time for Rebekah to give birth, the first child came out, red all over, like a hairy garment. And all the people of the land called him Esau. And after that came his brother, and his hand took hold of Esau's heel. Therefore they called his name Jacob. And the boys grew up to their 15th year. Esau was a fierce and deceitful young man. He was an expert hunter in the field who chose to learn the art of warfare. But Jacob was a quiet and upright young man who chose to dwell in tents, cooking, feeding the flocks, and learning to read and write from his grandfather Abraham, who taught him the instructions of Yahuwah and the commands of his father and mother.
Wow, Grandpa, so giants really used to roam the land?
Yes, my son. Your great ancestor Shem, who was on that boat with Noah his father, and Ham and Japheth his brothers, would tell us all the stories of the wickedness that took place in those days.
Well, I'm glad we don't have anything like that roaming around the earth today.
Ah, not quite, son. We do have them today. They're just not as humongous as before. But probably more specifically, they exist today more in the form of idols.
Really?
Yes, they exist as idols in the hearts of many foolish men, including my own father, unfortunately. Yah rest his soul.
Your father worshipped idols too?
Yes, son. He had 12 large idols he used to keep in our house in Babylon back when I was very young. I was jealous for my Elohim Adonai, Yahuwah, our Eluah, and I destroyed every one of those idols. After that, I had to flee from the wrath of Nimrod, the king of Babylon.
Yes, this is how the whole family ended up moving to Haran, and your grandfather to Canaan.
That's insane.
Esau, honey, where are you going in?
To the fields to hunt, as I always do.
Yes, but you have plenty of game in the house already. You really don't need to.
That's okay, Mother. You all go ahead. Don't wait up.
Jacob, do you mind helping your mother get dinner set up?
Sure thing, Grandpa.
My daughter, you need not be forlorn. Why should you fret when it's already been prophesied? It is in Jacob that my name should be called.
Yes, my lord. I know. It's just that I hate how my family is so divided on this matter. My own son won't even sit down and eat with us tonight. He'd rather hunt. Day and night, that's all he desires. This thing displeases me greatly, but his father doesn't seem to care. In fact, his approval only encourages this behavior.
I very well understand, my daughter. You love Jacob, while Isaac loves Esau. One thing you must always remember is that sometimes division is not always from the enemy. Look at how Yahuwah removed me from my father's house in order to bless me. The same must happen with your family. Your two boys are like night and day. Esau is concerned only with worldly matters. He's rebellious and wants nothing to do with Yahuwah. But Jacob, he's meek and humble. He loves Yahuwah with all his heart and desires to obey him at all times. Jacob is blessed, and it is through him and his seed that the covenant of Yahuwah will continue. This separation you're witnessing is divine providence. This is how Yahuwah will see his blessings through. And thus, Abraham continued to teach Jacob Yah's laws, statutes, and commandments, just as Abraham was taught by Noah and Shem when he was a child. But Abraham was growing old and knew the time of his death was near. One night, he called Isaac and Jacob as he lay in his tent, and he spoke to Isaac, saying, "My son, the time of my death draweth nigh. I've given your brothers Ishmael and the others many gifts, but you are mine heir. I've given you all my cattle, gold, and possessions."
Yes, Father.
Your mother Sarah and I taught you since you were a child that Yahuwah is our Eluah. He is the God of the heavens and the earth, and there is none like him. It is he who took me from my father's house in Babylon and delivered me from the counsel of the wicked, for in him do I trust. He brought me to the land of Canaan and said he would give me all these lands, that I shall inherit them if I keep his commandments, his statutes, and his judgments. Now therefore, my son, hearken to my voice, and keep the commandments of Yahuwah your Eluah, that it may be well with you and your children after you forever. Teach your children and thy seed the instructions of Yahuwah and his commandments. Teach them the way that they should go, in order that it be well with them forever.
That which my Lord has commanded, I will do, and I will not depart from the commands of Yahuwah, my Eluah. I will keep all that he has commanded you.
And Jacob, my beloved son, may Yahuwah bless thee from above, and may he give you all the blessings that he blessed Adam and Enoch and Noah and Shem, and all the things he told me and promised to give me, may he give it to you and to your seed forever. And may Yahuwah, your Eluah, be a father unto thee and thy seed always. This house that I have built for myself is given to you and to your seed forever, that you build the house of Abraham and establish my name before Yahuwah, and that your name will stand throughout all generations throughout the earth.
I love you, Grandpa.
I love you too, son. The Most High Yahuwah, the God and Creator of all, who brought me forth from Ur of Chaldees, the land of Babylon, that he might give me this land here in Canaan to inherit forever, that I might establish a holy seed. Blessed be the Most High forever. My son, over whom with all my heart and my affection I rejoice, may your grace and mercy be lifted up upon him and upon his seed always, and do not forsake him, that you would preserve him and bless him, and sanctify him as a nation for your inheritance, and his seed unto all the generations of the earth.
And with that, Abraham closed his eyes for the last time and slept the sleep of eternity, and was gathered to his fathers. And when Isaac learned of his father, he and the whole house of Abraham wept with a great weeping. And when the inhabitants of Canaan heard that Abraham was dead, they all came with their kings and princes and all their men to bury Abraham, as well as the inhabitants of Haran, the princes of Ishmael, and the princes of Midian. All came when they heard of Abraham's death, and they requited Abraham's kindness and comforted his sons. And Isaac and Ishmael buried him in the double cave with Sarah his wife, and they wept for him 40 days. All the men of his house, and Isaac and Ishmael, and all their sons, and all the sons of Keturah. For Abraham lived 175 years, and completed the days of his life, being old and full of days. And all the inhabitants of Canaan, and all those who had known Abraham, wept for him. Even the children of the land wept on account of Abraham, for he had been good to them all, because he had been upright with Yah and with men. And there arose not a man who feared Yahuwah like Abraham, for he feared Yahuwah from his youth and served him all the days of his life, from his childhood to the day of his death. And Yahuwah was with him and delivered him from the evil counsel of the sorcerers and from King Nimrod's fire pit, and gave him victory when he conquered the 4 kings of Elam. Abraham brought the children of the earth to the service of Yahuwah and taught them the ways of Yah, for he formed a grove and planted a vineyard, and he had always prepared his tent, meat and drink to those that passed through the land, that they may satisfy themselves in his house, and that he would teach them the ways of Yahuwah. And Yahuwah delivered the whole earth on account of Abraham. And it was after the death of Abraham that Yahuwah blessed his son Isaac and his children. And Yahuwah was with Isaac as he had been with his father Abraham. For Isaac kept all the commandments of Yah, as Abraham his father had commanded him. He did not turn to the right or to the left from the path which his father had commanded him.
Oh, yeah.